All right, so let's go ahead and let's just dive right into it. I'm going to, now, one thing I should mention is when we are, depending on time, I'm gonna try and stick within time because we went a little bit over last time. So at the end, I plan to do a practice. But if we don't get to it, it's a-okay. We can get to it at the end of or the last class. So no worries. So let's go ahead and let's dive right into it. So we're going to be doing a guided meditation. Actually, let's see if this decides to work on me today, because it's giving me a little bit of a hard time. If it doesn't, that's a-okay. Yeah, it's not complying with me, and that's okay. Give me like 2 seconds. Let me just make sure this works okay. There we go. It's giving me less trouble when I switch screens. If not, I'm just gonna show you, instead of like last time where we kind of did a little bit of a meditation, you know, where I kind of like turned everyone, I don't want to say on, that sounds really weird, but yeah, so
it's a permanent state of mind.
Yeah, so it's not working, but that's okay. So let's just go ahead and let's just do it anyway, and then we'll just take it from there. Let's see here. All right, Sarah, are you in too? I let a bunch of people in.
Yeah, I'm in.
Okay, cool. All right. So let's go ahead, everybody. Close your eyes. I know there's no music, so it's like kind of weird, but I will still for it here. All right, everybody, close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and one out. So I'm just going to show you how I do a quick protection on myself. So you guys can utilize this if you'd like. So another breath in and another out. Okay, and I want you to picture a beautiful light coming in from the sky, slowly making its way down, touching the top of your head, and just covering you in that luminescent, beautiful light from the divine. Making its way through, down on your shoulders, past your torso, to your hips, and then to your feet. Okay? We're gonna take another deep breath in, and another one out. And that's pretty much it, you guys. That's the quick protection that I do. Actually, I do this like in bed because I'm kind of lazy. So I'd be laying in my bed and, you know, just covering yourself with that light, that's a quick protection. You don't need tools for that. So I just thought that was just pretty easy. But all right, you guys, let's do this. So the clairs, I want everyone to kind of tell me what you have learned. Are you clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, claircognizance? I know some of you guys posted on the Facebook group, but have you guys learned something that this past week that, you know, that was a surprise to yourself? Anybody can jump in.
I mean, I learned that because sometimes when I do connect with spirit, it is mostly through knowing and feeling. Like I've learned that I don't really hear voices. I just know what to say next, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So more of the claircognizance and clairsentient.
Yes.
Right, combination, so that's good. Excellent. Anybody else?
Yeah, I think
I learned that I'm pretty confused with it because I think I'm more clairaudient than the rest. But
Okay.
it feels sometimes it feels like it's just thoughts arguing with me. So I think I'm crazy. Like I have that feeling, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty
More
surprising.
like, yeah, I could totally see that. It's
Oh my gosh, the picture
uh
though.
I'm kind of like that too. Like I said last time, it's like more of like, Summer, please don't do that. Summer, please put that down.
Yeah.
You know, I'm pretty sure my spirit guides are absolutely fed up with me, but you know, they still love me, so it's okay. All right, anybody else?
I haven't really messed with my cards because I haven't clarified them yet because I haven't gotten it's the uh the stuff is supposed to come in a day. But
Okay.
I think I am more, I would call it intuitive, the clairaudient.
Okay. That's good.
Cause like even just sitting during the day, just like when I'm not holding my phone, I'll have like pick up your phone. Like, okay.
Yeah, it can be a little scary at times, right? When we get messages out of the blue or we see those synchronicities, right? It's a
It's more
good
it's more of a it's more
clarification.
of a feeling like you should
Yeah.
have your phone in your hand. I'm like, it's like, yeah, when is my phone not in my hand? Yeah. And then all of a sudden, like, my mom will call. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it be like that sometimes. All right. So obviously the key is to keep practicing, and most important is honestly to build that trust within yourself. Trust yourself. That's the hardest thing, right? Usually we have a feeling of, oh, maybe I should do this, or I should call somebody. I should, not pick that person or something like that, and you have that feeling, you're not able to listen to your intuition. So the point is to trust your intuition. Okay, so we're going to talk about ethics, and then we're going to dive into the rest of the minor arcanas. Okay, so with tarot, just keep in mind of your guides. Now this is really difficult. Now with ethics and tarot, it's more of like an unspoken rule, right? You could take in all this, so you could say this is a bunch of trash. I am not doing it, right? That's up to you. So with tarot, just keep in mind of your guides, okay? Like question, obsession. If you keep asking the same question over and over again, you can make your guides a little bit upset. Or sometimes like you'll get the same answer and tarot's like, okay, that is enough. You need to stop that, right? Just you can always like rephrase, and we'll go over rephrasing questions at the last end of class. Not this class, but class number 4. Okay, so just be mindful of your guides, and you're putting them to work. Okay. Also, the well-being of your client and also yourself. I think that it's very important to kind of not put yourself into their reading, if that makes any sense at all. And I'll go a little bit more into that in the next few slides. So, if you need to take a break, go ahead, take a break. If there are questions that you're not comfortable with answering, do not answer them. Don't force yourself to do it, okay? So just keep that in mind. Client confidentiality is extremely important. No one wants you to go around and tell the neighborhood about their business. Now you can talk about, oh, I had this weird client, this was their question, but not mention their names or their birth dates or show like their photo or, something of the sort. And lastly, really do not judge your clients. Now there have been instances where I've had questions where I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of weird. But I went ahead and I rolled with it, and Spirit Guide was like, that this one is canceled, do not do it. And the question was, actually I had 2 that were really strange. 2 off the top of my head. actually I had quite a few strange ones, but two actually stand out. One of them was, this is an actual real question. I want to know when my grandmother will die so I can get her inheritance, was one. Yeah, that's an actual question. Another one was, I'm into this guy, but he has a child, and I want him to not be in the child's life. How can we get the child to like not be included? So just keep that in mind. I came across
Those are like movies.
yeah, exactly. I was like, please don't kill your grandmother, please, right? Because that was like too much for me. So just you're going to have these weird questions. It's best to just be like, listen, I'm not going to answer them, or spirit is not down with the cause. Don't do it. Okay? It's okay to say no. Pulling cards without permission. I've had somebody who I know who has literally pulled cards on a family member of mine without even asking. And that is the kind of crossing a boundary. If I don't give permission, don't do it. I was kind of going to with those who do celebrity readings as well. I'm kind of like on the fence with that, is because it's a little bit like spying. You don't want anyone to spy on you. Sure as hell don't want anyone spying on me, right? So I can give you guys permission to do readings on me. This is because I gave you permission to do so. It's okay. Also, when you're doing readings, do not hide negative messages or news. Tell them like it is, right? You don't want to sugarcoat it for anybody. You know, because, you know, it's just like, you just don't want to sugarcoat it. I want someone to just tell me, listen, Summer, get your act together, get off your ass, and go out there and, you know, and work, which is still hard for me till this day. But, you know, that's a different story. Include a disclaimer to protect yourself. This is on a legal front, okay? Because ideally, it's best to not answer any legal questions, medical questions, things that are beyond the person's control, right? Because if you're like, yeah, you're going to win the court date and they ended up losing, or the court case and they're going to lose, ooh, they're going to come after you like it's no one's business. So it's just best just to avoid that, right? Also, swerve minors, no minors, unless it's a minor that you know personally, that you do a reading for. But do not do readings on minors, is because they can make this like decisions, or they could sometimes take things to heart, and then they'll, you know, all legality and all that kinds of good stuff. So it's just best just to avoid them altogether. All right, with boundaries, be wary of emotional dumping or vampires. And when you are opening yourself into this field, you will notice that people will come to you with paragraphs of messages, and they want you to help them. I get it, right? But that's really draining, especially if you're a clairsentient, especially because their anxiety will attach to you if you keep going through and reading those messages. So it's okay to say no. So just be very careful of emotional dumping and vampires, okay? And also too, this one you probably heard me say, if you guys, some of you guys who follow me on Instagram, always exchange when doing tarot. My sisters, they can actually tell you, I don't do tarot for free, not even for my family. I just don't. Because you know why? You're telling the universe, I'm putting my energy and my effort, I'm putting my spirit guides to work, but I don't get anything in return. If you're doing it as a practice and you're getting feedback, that's okay, right? But if you are going out of your way, just doing it for free, that's actually going to hurt you in the long run. So if you're wanting to like make a career or something out of it, or just do it on the side, then that money is gonna not gonna come in at the pace that you want it to. All right. So just keep that in mind. So if you're doing it for feedback, like you guys were doing it for practice, you're getting something in return. So that's okay. So try your best. Also, not tell your client what to do. Give them advice. That one's a really, really tough one. You know, like, yeah, go ahead and leave your man. Don't do that. Okay, just say what the cards are telling them, right? Or what the cards are telling you. And just relay the message and then just call it a day. Because if you start telling them what to do, then they're going to be really upset, you know, if things don't work out, and they're going to shift the blame on you, right? And also, lastly, it's okay to take spiritual breaks. A-okay with that. I do it all the time because dealing with tarot takes a lot of energy. So I don't do live readings anymore. It's because like I'm like a zombie the rest of the day. So I've decided like I won't be doing those. Also, too, one thing I didn't put in here, and this you could do this or you don't have to, but it is said that it's best, I do it, but to have 2 tarot decks, one that you use for other people or like for clients, and one that you use personally. Okay, you don't want to interchange those energies constantly. Now, like I said, you don't have to, but it's always just best to just clear your deck at all times, all right, in between readings, all right? So any questions in regards to ethics or boundaries? Yep, go ahead.
So when it comes to, when you said you were like split up the decks, a personal deck and a deck for other people, would that go with the same, is that the same for oracle cards?
No.
Okay.
Just the Rider-Waite Tarot.
Okay, how do you cleanse a deck?
Oh, it's pretty easy. So, got my deck here, right? You can do it 2 ways. You could take incense, sage, or Palo Santo, and you could just clear it, right? Just smudge your cards. Or you could just take a crystal, like so, and just place it on top of your cards, like that. That's it, right? And in between readings, let's say, for example, your crystals are not nearby, or your smudging tools are like in the next room, just knock it 1, 2, 3. You knock the energy right out of the cards. That's it. So it's pretty easy, pretty simple, right? You don't have to like go through the extra. But if, like I said, if you're having one deck, that's absolutely fine. Like you don't have to, right? It's just an option. Any other questions? Before we move into the minor arcanas, because we're just going to jump right into it.
I have something about meditation and how you find your guides.
Yes. So with meditation, I totally recommend you going into a dark room, right? You can close the blinds. And I listen to like binaural beats or like audio to actually help me. So I would honestly put on headphones and just like lay out like on the floor or on the bed in a dark room. I recommend doing it in the morning then, or in the daytime than at night. Maybe because in my case, I've had like stragglers kind of come in while I'm doing my meditation. Because a lot of you guys know my house is haunted, so there's that. So it's just best to just do it during the day. So when you're doing it during the day and you're laying out, you're listening to the binaural beats. And I think I posted one on Facebook, so I'll post the other one. Seriously, using your mind's eye, right? Ask your spirit guides to reveal themselves. I wouldn't say it out loud.
Oh, okay.
Okay, just ask them to reveal themselves. They'll give you a clue. Either it's a song, either it's a visual aspect of it. I've gotten a few visuals before, but just literally just ask who they are. So then when you're doing your readings too, you can call them by name. Okay. Try that. That for me is the best way to do it. All right. like I said, just try not to do it at night and don't say it out loud. Because I've done it one time and like shit was falling in the background. I was alone at home and I was like, oh, hell no. I was like, oh yeah, it's a wrap today. So just keep that in mind. All right? Any other questions? We're good? We're gonna dive right into it. Let's do this. The Suit of Swords. Suit of Swords, I believe, is like the hard ass of tarot. Okay? So Suit of Swords are centered around the mind and the intellect. They mirror your present mind, such as your thoughts, attitudes, and beliefs. If I have to think about anxiety and depression, I would think about Suit of Swords. As weird as that sounds, I don't want to scare you, but you'll see exactly what I mean here, right? So then it's the element of air. Signs are Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. It rules the mind, okay? And in terms of time, we're talking about weeks. Swords is really fast. Because it is air, think about it as like wind flying through, like quickly, right? So if you're like, I'm getting a job, or am I going to be getting a job pretty soon, and we have like the Knight of Swords, that means more likely it's going to be coming soon, okay? So here we go. Now, I did something different this time-ish. I didn't put as many arrows throughout the rest of the illustrations, just an FYI, because I think that by now we should kind of have an idea what we're looking at and what we're looking for. So with this here, we have hand coming out of the clouds, right? Holding one sword, there's a crown there at the top, and we have what looks like an olive branch, right? Hanging on one side, and a little greenery hanging on the other. Hold on, looks like maybe someone else is trying to come in the class, guys. I apologize. Okay, never mind. Just kidding. I was just trying to make sure that so no one else was coming in. All right, cool. So yes, so we have this hand coming out of the clouds. There's some mountains in the background, right? So ideally, this is more of, I call this one the breath of fresh air card. Okay, does anyone see something of significance on this card here? Or anything that's like screams to you or speaks to you?
I see two things.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
It almost looks like there's like flames of fire on the side of the swords.
Okay. Those are
And
leaves.
huh?
I said those are leaves.
Oh,
I can see why you'd say flames. You're absolutely fine.
And then it looks like there's a water in the background at the bottom.
Mm-hmm. It kind of does, doesn't it? All right. Oh, go ahead, Annie.
Oh, hi. Hello. You hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, because I don't hear myself. Okay, thank you. It feels like a guardian angel to me.
That's a good one. All right.
Yeah, like he or she or they trying to communicate with you or something. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's
Thank you.
awesome. So obviously we know that this means, if you think about it in the mind like sense, let's say for example, if you were playing this card on yourself and you're like, listen, am I going in the right direction on something? And we got the Ace of Swords upright. More likely it's like, yes, you're going in the right direction. More likely you're going to have some sort of new opportunity, or you might come up with great ideas or something, right? The fact that there is a water there looks like at the bottom. So it gives us that satisfaction is not even a word.
It is now.
Yeah, we'll claim it today. So it's going to give you that sort of satisfaction. I do like seeing this one because it's like you being on top, just because the crown is there at the top, right? It's the creme de la creme, on my opinion, of all the aces, right? Now, if it's in reverse, obviously, just means that there's probably some blockages going on here, right? This card is just pure blockage. Either ideas, if you're looking to start a business, if you're looking to start a relationship, and this one comes up in reverse, more likely it's just saying there are some blockages. All right? Any questions for Ace of Swords before we move on? All right, let's do it. 2 swords. Anytime I see 2 of swords, I get the Three's Company feel to it too, right? 2 swords means you're at a crossroads. It does literally mean that. It is at a stop. Nothing is moving. Everything's at a standstill. If you notice there's water in the background, it is still. It's not moving at all. We have the crescent moon there on the side, and that implicates like more on how the mind of being able to trust, being hopeful, right? Because remember, we talked about the crescent moon too in last class. So it's the fact too that she is blindfolded, so it just means that unwilling to face the truth. If you notice on the sword suits, there's going to be a lot of blindfolding. Just means that you're kind of just caught up. You don't want to see the truth whatsoever. Okay? Now I have been given this this card did come up for me at least, and some cheating going on here. This card does come up quite often, because if you know that something's going on and you're not able to face it, usually that's what this means, right? So 2 of Swords 2, I would say, is one of the only, like a handful of cards that mean pretty much the same thing, upright or reverse, right? If you look at the keywords on the side, crossword, good Lord, crossroads, on the middle, and reverse, we're seeing the truth, right? That's a reveal, emotional turmoil, some delays going on here. So I would say this is one of the very few cards that pretty much mean the same thing, you know, regardless. Now, let's say, for example, I ask the question, is my soulmate coming towards me? And you did a one card question, and it comes up upright. What does that mean?
You're both at a crossroads right now.
Okay.
Like it's not at this moment. Like you might want it, but that's not where your focus should be.
Excellent. Absolutely right? Not right this moment. Or just say, no, they're not coming. Sorry. I mean,
Just go straight for it.
Don't say it like that. just, or you can. You can be like, nah, try again, right? But
I would say your soulmate may want to, but is that a denial?
Okay, at a denial, or we could just say too that there are some, like Courtney, right? Thank you.
Me?
No, Courtney. Like there's some blockages, or sorry, crossroads. There's some sort of blockage going on that's like kind of out of your control, right? That can mean that too. It's just the fact that we have the blindfold. It just means that or this person could be in your face and you just don't see it. That could be another instance, right? It depends on the person and the question, of course, and what you're feeling during that time. 3 of Swords. This is another Three's Company sword, right? Oh man, I need to start like screening some of my questions. So here we go. With this, we see 3 of Swords through a heart. Obviously, this one screams heartbreak because we got clouds, it's raining, it's kind of dreary, it's like a little bit all over the place, right? And the fact that we have 3 swords, it doesn't honestly mean every time that there's going to be 3 people involved. It's just, you know, it's just saying that there's probably, you know, you're hurt beyond hurt, per se, right? I have gotten this one with some people who have 2 options, some people who are dating somebody else, and this does come up, okay? Tarot can be a little bit scary sometimes, and bam, it just like hits you right in the forefront. So with this one here, I think this one's, like I said, very self-explanatory. If it does come up in reverse, it just means like, you know, you probably overcoming that heartbreak, you overcoming a situation. Maybe you're, you know, if we're pulling, like, let's say, for example, we're asking, should I leave my job? Right? That's usually a yes or no. And obviously we have it right side up, and it's like, listen, it's causing you a lot of grief. You're very unhappy where you are. You know, you can't say, yes, go ahead, leave your job, leave it today, put in your notice. You can't do that, right? We talked about that. We can't do it. As much as, you know, whoo, I want to put in my notice too, damn. So, sorry, I got totally sidetracked. So as much as, you know, you want to give advice, just try to refrain from it. You could say, yes, it's giving you a lot of heartbreak. You know, maybe you need to, you know, if you want, you can start searching. You could, you know, try to make light of the situation or something, but it is causing you a lot of sadness. That's just a confirmation that, yes, maybe you should, but we're not coming out saying you need to leave immediately, right? So any questions about 3 of Swords? Any comments? We're good? Okay, let's move on. 4 of Swords. I don't know why there's like these little blue squigglies on here. I'll make sure to remove that later. That's kind of weird. All right, so 4 of Swords, we have, this person looks like a, there's like, I think it's like a tomb. There's a word for that. It starts with a C. But I haven't drank enough coffee today, so everyone knows exactly what that is, right? This person, they're laying there, they have their hands kind of folded up. If you notice there in the window, look at that window, right? A little mosaic window, and it's colorful. There's a woman and a child there. They have a little bit of a house there in the corner, and it's just like they're just very happy. This kind of like screams meditation, temporary. So temporary feelings like at the moment, but there's going to be a brighter day ahead. This is what this card screams, even though it's kind of morbid in a way, right? There's just like some death there, but it's just saying that you guys will be, might be stagnant a little bit, but more likely you're going to pull through. Now, let's say, for example, you know, we have this card here in reverse, and I ask, I'm going to try to throw a question out and you guys can answer this for me. What do I need to know right now? That's going to be honestly, that's like your homework, by the way. But let's just say I got this in reverse. What do I need to know right now? It's a hard one, but go ahead and take your time with it.
I think I know.
Go ahead.
You said it was in reverse, right?
In reverse.
Okay. That currently you haven't been, or you have an issue accepting help. Maybe you take on too much, not only for yourself, but for other people. And if you don't like change your behavior, it could cause a mental breakdown. If not now, then, you know, in the future.
That's excellent. Absolutely excellent. And pretty much you did a reading for me. Like, boom. We're done, guys. Okay. No, just kidding. I got you all here to do readings for me. Just kidding. And yes, absolutely, you hit the nail right up. Yeah, hit the nail on the head, right? It's exactly that. If you guys were stumped, okay, you can always touch the cards, put your hands over the cards, and really just look at it, just take your time with it too, all right? But yes, that's absolutely excellent. You guys are doing so damn good. I don't even know why I'm here sometimes. Here we go. So, yeah, any questions, anything you want me to go over with this card? No, everyone good? Okay, let's go ahead and let's keep it going. The Five of Swords. Now, this is, I call this one here, stop pissing everybody off sword, or card, sorry. So obviously we see this person here, they're kind of holding the swords like really close to them. And you have one person there to the right, they have looks like that they're crying, they're really sad. And the other person's just like walking away. Obviously, this one just screams conflict. It screams of maybe you angering somebody or someone is angering you. If you're like, I want to know what it is about our relationship, and then we're like, oh, there's obviously some, some rifts going on here. Also, keep a note of the clouds. Look at the clouds. They're kind of zigzaggy, right? It looks like almost like chaotic in a way, right? It's not that beautiful cloud that we saw here, right? Swirly and just like, right? We're not getting that there. We're getting chaos, right? This card screams chaos. And I don't know why this one did not show up in reverse, but just pretend like it is, okay? It's just the fact that, obviously this is like distant communication. It's just the fact that maybe there's someone around you in the midst, maybe trying to work against you. Maybe it's time for you to just cut ties and move on, right? The fact that we also we have it in reverse, it's just, maybe you guys have fought in the past and you're coming to a resolution. You guys are being able to connect. I've also called this one the reconnecting card. Maybe you're talking about a family member that you've had trouble in the past with. Maybe, you've had a boss or something, or anyone around you, or anyone that you were thinking of, and this card comes up in reverse. It just means that you're able to figure things out. You're able to communicate in a thoughtful way to each other, right? If you're like, is my ex going to come back? And this comes up in reverse, more likely you might start working some things out, right? So just keep that in mind, that this one is either you're fighting or you guys are making peace. I think this one's like pretty straightforward. Plus, like, the hair on this guy here in the front is like driving me crazy.
I don't know why, but the guy on the left, on the upright, it almost looks like his clothes were cut off.
I can see that. I can definitely see that. It's either
on the left,
like, if, like, during the Renaissance, they used to have like a cloak that they would throw over the shoulder too. So it could be either one, but that's actually a good observation. Maybe he just tore up his clothes and like really peeled about that. Any comments, any concerns about the Five of Swords before we move on? All right, let's keep it going. So Six of Swords. I love this card. Kind of gives me like the good feels, even though it's like, yes, it's like overcoming hardship. You see a person there, they're cloaked. This is the fact that there's a boat. The boat represents the subconscious motion, movement, moving from one place to another. Maybe you are going on a journey. Maybe you are, escaping some sort of some sort of hardship or something, or you're going through healing, because remember, there is water. The fact that there is water there, we learn from the cups that water does have a significant influence on your intuition, on your, because it does have like a ritual kind of, I don't want to say vibe, but I'm just going to roll with it. Does have a ritual element to it, right? Because if you think about doing baptisms, right?
Mhm.
All that kinds of stuff, like water does play a significant role there. So just the fact that we have a boat here and there's knives, and you see the knives that they're setting up, it's just showing that you are on your way to a better place within yourself, right? Now, this could also go all the way across, even on the romantic front too, that everything is going to start going better, or maybe like, this person who's coming towards you will teach you or show you something, or maybe you will move. Or, there could be, you can interpret this card 1,000 ways. And also to notice the person who is driving the boat. Does anyone recognize this person? I've talked about their tights in the last class. Remember 7 of Pentacles? Remember I call him sexy guy? Looking over the pinnacles.
Was he the one with the grapes?
Yeah, that guy right there is in the boat. Right? So I'm like, sexy guy, where are you taking me? But it's just think about it that way. It's just you going in motion. Like I said, you can interpret this card in particular a million ways. It's just, I just call it like it's a very healing and moving type of card. Now, the fact that it is in reverse as well, we're gonna get some spiritual blockage. Maybe, it's time for you to move, but you're kind of feeling stuck too. There's some conflict maybe with family, just the fact it looks like a female, I'm not entirely sure, and a child there. So maybe you're having conflict with a child, or with a male, or something of significance. All right. So this one does, this is like one of my favorite cards, as weird as that sounds. All right, so any questions or comments about the 6 of Swords?
The swords are all in the front.
Yes, they are all in the front. So it's kind of like your mind driving. It's like the driving force, because remember, the swords, they do rule the mind.
I was thinking protection.
And protection, that's actually good too. That's excellent.
If I may say something about the swords too, because you just pointed that out, because it just feels like it's protective. How the swords are, I had to think about ending conflict, because normally when you stop fighting, or in like those dramatic scenes in movies, they the hero stabs the sword into the ground. So
that's absolutely excellent. Yes, great observation. Great observation, you guys. I love it. All right. 7 of Swords. You probably see me put this on my Instagram. I call this "You Ain't Never Gonna Catch Me." You are never gonna catch me card, right? Look how sneaky they are. They have swords in their hands. Obviously, we see some swords right there in the back. Looks like a military camp there to the right. If you look onto the left, kind of in that corner in the back, you see some people kind of like hovered over, maybe like one person like holding a spear there. This just shows that, that they're kind of sneaky. They're taking things without permission, right? So this is exactly it. It's about being sneaky. It's about being deceitful. It's, maybe, imagine if you asked, okay, I'm going to be funny for just a second. Imagine if you ask like your guides, like, I want to know what my twin flame is doing. Sorry, if you hear my dog going off, it's Amazon. So please ignore. So if you hear or if you ask a question about my twin flame, right? I want to know what they're doing. And this card comes up. Spirit is saying to you, stop it. Stop. I actually know someone who pulls on their twin flame every single day. Every single day. And this card comes up. Like, enough. Leave it alone. Okay? All right? So, like I said, this one is very straightforward. I honestly love the boots on this person and the little fluffy hat that they got going on. I'm like all for it. If I saw it, I would buy it. But
Ask your husband.
and just the fact too that they have kind of like a ha 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 got you expression too. Look at the expression on that. So this could mean too, like not just towards you, but towards a person, towards maybe someone around you. Use your intuition when you're reading for every single card. All right? Just don't go straight into the keywords or into, pull out the booklet. Just whatever screams to you. Sorry to say. Leela? She's fine. All right, so then in reverse, we have honesty, right? You probably not sneaking around or someone not sneaking around. They are, it kind of goes a little bit hand in hand with it being upright, but not exactly. So maybe, they're just not they're withholding information instead of being like 100%. Where in the upright, I'd say like they're more purposefully trying to lie to you, right? Where maybe they are just withholding, lying a little bit like a white lie, but it's just not. Sorry, guys. You guys hear her?
Yeah.
Is she loud? I apologize. Give me like 2 seconds. That's enough. It's okay. You'll go in your bed. Okay. Oh, she yelled at me. Okay. Woo. Woo, she tried it today. Sorry, you guys. She's a chipoodle, so she's like thinks she's a German Shepherd. God knows. All right. So, like I was saying, this could mean this card in like reverse and upright could, it's just not as severe of it as it being upright, if that makes any sense at all. Okay, there's still a little bit of deceit, but not exactly, right, as it is on the upright position. So any questions, anybody want to touch on anything that I missed? Everybody good? All right.
Question.
Yep, go ahead.
Could the you see the tents in the background?
Mhm.
The doors on them are open. Could that possibly, like the spying aspect, is that where that comes in it, or what does that mean?
The fact that they're open?
Mm-hmm.
It could be, right? Also, if you think about it, if you have your door open, and actually have had this happen before, where it was accidentally open and someone just walked right through, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just pretend like they're kind of invasive, like
right.
like they own the place. So that could, I would say that's kind of like where the spying could be coming from, right? Maybe it's an open invitation, like you letting someone into your home even, let's just say. Like, maybe you got a new friend and you invited them into your home and they ended up kind of going through your medicine cabinet. That's kind of spying, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just maybe the fact that you've let this person in, that could be a very high possibility. And they're not there with the best intentions.
Okay. Because, most of the time, tent doors aren't open. You know what I mean? Like, you have to, this, because that's what stood out to me. And I'm like, oh.
But also, too, and you brought up a really good point, this could be social media. They could be spying on you through social media, too.
Okay.
right? Because that is kind of like you opening yourself up to the world, right?
Yeah.
And they're just being nosy and liking like hella old pictures, and you're like, I know for a fact you went that far back,
Right.
right? You know they probably hit it on by accident, didn't realize it, and that like kind of signifies that they're
Right.
spying on you, right?
Right.
So if you're asking about this person, let's just say, for example, you're asking about a soulmate, right? And this card does come up, doesn't necessarily mean that they are a cheater or they're sneaky or whatever, or just maybe they just are like I said, they could just be spying on your social media. I mean, we all do it. Seriously, we all do it. Everyone goes through, right? I mean, if the information's out there, hell, I'm going to look for it.
Right.
So, yeah, it's just, it could mean like several things. So I'm glad you brought that up. That's an excellent point.
Okay.
Anything
Like
else?
you haven't visited a person and looked through the medicine cabinet when you went to the bathroom.
Say that again?
Like you haven't visited another person's house and looked through the medicine cabinet when you went to the bathroom.
I don't think I have.
Everyone's done that.
I've not done that. I haven't done that. If someone's gone through my medicine cabinet, they'll probably run away. No, just kidding. They'll be very disappointed. They'll be very, very disappointed. They probably come to me and be like, you need help. You need some real serious help. And that's absolutely true. We're not going to get into that. All right, you guys, let's move on. 8 of Swords. This one speaks volumes. This is the fact that, remember we said, we talked about blindfolding. Her eyes are covered there. She is not seeing things clearly. She's, like we said, she's unwilling to face the truth. There's a little bit of water there at the bottom of her feet. So her emotions are just like, I don't want to say, well, we could say their emotions are spilled. You know, you ever had like a day where it's just like, just all over the place? Everything is starting to bother you at the same time. You're starting to feel trapped, right? Look at those swords like around her, kind of like circling her in a way, like she just can't move and her arms and her body is bound. There is a house there in the background, like at the top of the hill. You know, it just feels very far away, cold and distant. The sky is gray. There's no sun, there's no clouds, there is absolutely nothing. This card just speaks volumes of exactly where your state of mind is. So if you are feeling trapped, this is the card. If you are feeling any sort of anxiety, this is the card. Just the fact that this does show up, right? It just, this card always stumps me anytime I get it. If I do a reading like on myself, which I do sometimes, not all the time, this comes up, I'm like, okay, I guess. I know, right? I know I'm anxious. I know I feel trapped, right? But now we have it in reverse. In reverse, look at it as that she removed the blindfold. She's able to navigate those little bits of rough water. She's able to go back home, able to break free, right? It's just, this is such a beautiful card. Now, if you had a relationship card and this pops up, I just call it a day, right? Because that's like, whoo, child. You're going to feel trapped, or maybe you feel trapped in your relationship now, right? Or not that's like necessarily like fully trapped. Maybe you feel, trapped about something like extremely minor. Maybe, your car broke down and you're not able to move from one end to another. Or maybe there's COVID-19 and you can't go outside and, and hang out and get a margarita outside your house, like that, right? We have that instance here, okay? Now, how about I ask the question? Remember, we're doing single card readings now, right? We kind of are getting the tempo of this. And this card comes up upright. And I ask, what can you tell me about my career? Now it's upright.
I would say there's possibly no room for growth. Like you've reached your glass ceiling.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Exactly that. That's perfect.
I would say that there's opportunity all around you, but you are blinded to it.
That's
on top of it.
Yes. Yes. Those are excellent. Anybody else want to jump in?
Maybe, I would say your anxiety is causing you to miss out on a lot of opportunities. Maybe because you also have fear of the future or something like that.
Yeah, excellent. You guys hit the nail on the head. You guys are so damn good. So good. You guys make me so happy. All right. Anything else before we move on?
I wanted to say something. It looks like the tie around her waist is kind of like loose, like it could be removed, but you're like kind of choosing to keep it there. So could some of this be like self-imposed anxiety or issues?
Yes. Yes, exactly that. It's like you said, you are keeping yourself bound. No one is there's no one there holding her down but her, right? She can literally just wiggle out of that. She just needs to be able to literally remove the blindfold to be able to see where she is and where she's going. The only person who is stopping her is her, right? I absolutely love that. Yes. Yes. Sorry, I get carried away. Remember I said swords are all about anxiety, depression, and so on and so forth? I was not kidding, right? That's how I look like in bed in the morning. No, I'm just kidding. Obviously, sorry, were you gonna say something?
I was just gonna say I didn't know you slept with swords.
I will not get into that actually. That's a different story. So I know Bandy's laughing because she knows exactly what I'm talking about. So the fact that we have this card, there are swords there on the wall. Note that the room is super dark. There's no window. There's no light in there. Think about it as you closing your eyes at night or in the day or whatever. You having your eyes closed and, you're just having a bad day. This is what that feels like. Right? Because you're kind of like in your head, like about certain things. This is like clearly she's like in her mind. She's not in an actual room. Just look at it that way. Okay? So remember with the Eight of Swords, they're being bound. They have their eyes covered, right? They're closed. That kind of like leads up to this. Almost means almost the same thing, I would say, right? There's some disappointment. You're overwhelmed. But also too, look at the roses on the sheet. I want you to just pick up that little detail there. Does anyone?
There's another detail on the blanket.
Sorry, go ahead.
There's another detail on the blanket too.
Mm-hmm. There's some blue, you see those little blue patches?
They have the zodiac signs on them.
You have to look really closely. Mm-hmm. And we also have some flowers there too.
Yeah.
Anyone want to tell me what this means?
Blossoming?
Mm-hmm. Blossoming. There's a blanket. Remember, what do blankets do? Like, yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. They comfort you. And also, I wanted to say, as for we just had the Eight of Swords, and this is kind of like an upgrade also because you don't have those, you didn't bind yourself with these things. It's not, how do you say, it's not as comfortable anymore. Now you're in the comfort of your own mind and trying to maybe accept your situation as it is, but without accepting it. Like you're comfortable or trying to be comfortable in
Yes.
this mind so that you don't have to move on maybe.
A plus.
Thank
A plus. Yes. Akiva, you were
I-
going to say something too?
Yeah, when she brought out the zodiac signs, I was gonna say, could that possibly mean that you're divinely protected?
A plus plus. A plus, everybody. Yes. Thank you. And you know, if you notice, I did not put those keywords in there on purpose. On purpose. Is because I don't want you to focus too hard on them, right? I just put them there just, you know, for you guys to just have a good reference. But you are guided. I love that. You are divinely guided. And, you know, this is all in your head. It's like you seeing ghosts where there are none. It's exactly what this is, right? And just the fact that you have that blanket and that protection is there for, even if it's right side or upright or even in reverse. Obviously in reverse is like learning how to get out of your mind, learning how to remove that blockage. You're going to start to see clearly. This Nine of Swords is like how a spiritual awakening usually happens. We're like all over the place, anxiety is all over the place, learning to accept, learning to listen, learning to trust, right? This card does represent that. If I had to put a spiritual awakening, what it looks like this. Because it's all you. There's no other outside forces. This is you, right? Because we don't have the mountain element. We don't have the water element here. We have some roses, but that's just about it. But we're in a dark room because that's in your mind. Okay? You guys are like, you guys are so badass. Like this is like, I don't even know why I'm here. Seriously. All right? Swords. Anything else? Anybody want to input?
A little question.
Yeah.
Hi, when you say the spiritual awakening, you mean in upright or is it reversed?
Either one.
Either one?
So either one. So let's say, for example, you wanted to ask, where am I in my spiritual awakening? If it's upright, the way how I see it. Now, remember, it's coming from me. Maybe coming from you might be a little bit different. Coming from me, it's like you're in smack dab in the middle. You're not done yet. If it were to be in reverse, more likely you're starting to get, I wouldn't say like you're starting to trust and starting to listen and starting to learn, right? You're on your way out. You're almost there. So that's how I would be able to, you know, to tell you how you are in your spiritual awakening. If this card in significance come up. Does that make sense?
Yes, much clearer. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Any other questions, you guys, before we move on? You guys ready for some more morbid cards? Here we go. Boom, dead. Mute. The end is nigh, right? Obviously, we have a person there lying on the ground. They have all bunch of the swords in there. Actually, if you have the modern day, is it the modern day tarot? Someone here has one, has the same one that I use. It says at the bottom, everything is fine. Right? Yeah, it says everything is fine at the bottom, seriously, right? Obviously, we have some clouds, dark clouds, kind of like starting to make its way through. The sun is going down. There are mountains in the background, right? It just shows like there's some obstacles, but everything is starting to go quiet. And this is what it means by you calling it the end. So if you're thinking about your job, career, love, so on and so forth, this is you cutting ties with those who do not serve you whatsoever. This is you washing your hands clean. And this position is not the best position to be in because it looks like it hurts like hell. because it does, right? All right, and notice that they have, if you notice the formation of their hands.
Yeah, they look broken.
Yeah. Okay, you got it. Yes, exactly. Cut. Bye. Bye-bye, right? So that's exactly what this card means. This one is just, it's pretty crystal clear. It's just, you're at the end of your wits. And number 10 does always mean the end of something, the end of a cycle, the end of, you know, thoughts or whatever, so on and so forth. We'll go into numerology in the next class actually. Okay. So obviously, like I said, this one is pretty self-explanatory. The fact that it is reversed, right? It just means that, I was about to say, you're alive. No. Right? It just means that you are beginning to get out of a situation. You're starting to overcome. Maybe you've hit a snafu or a blip and you've made it to the other side, right? That's exactly what that means. All right. So the fact that this one is pretty self-explanatory. I won't beat you guys with the question with this one.
I do have a question about it though. It looks like there's water.
It does look like, yes, there is water in between the land there and the mountains. Yes.
Isn't that supposed to mean calming?
Yeah.
Emotion?
So this card kind of coincides with the death card. Anything that you end, a new beginning starts to kick in as well. It's just, if you notice the water, there's no ripples because everything is at a quiet, everything is at a standstill because it's the end, right? So I'm glad that you did point that out. Any questions? Any other questions regarding Ten of Swords? All right, are we good? The Page of Swords, breath of fresh air. Feels like we just climbed out of a pit, but no, I'm just kidding. So we have the Page of Swords, it being upright here. We see these beautiful clouds. There's some mountains. There's some beautiful greenery. But if you notice, I put an arrow towards the birds.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the last little bit of the sword suit, there's a lot of significance about birds. Birds, they signify higher thoughts, freedom, right? You moving from one end to another. It also represents spirit in a way, okay? You notice the tree there too, wind is it's kind of kicking in. And, think about wind and, how about say pollen, but pollen does, can spring up new life, so on and so forth. So I just want you to just keep that in mind. This is you just moving forward, you being I love the tights on, I honestly love the tights on all of them. It's just being able to be accepting of what's going on in your head, you being absolutely truthful. Maybe, you are looking to move forward and plan, right? Because we do have those birds there at the top. Okay. Now, this kind of signifies the Ace of Swords because of the cloud formation. They kind of have almost the same cloud formation, right? So this also could mean too, bringing new news, new beginnings. There's some youthful energy here that I love. And that hair is blown in the breeze. Love that too. I'm all for that. But if we're looking at it in reverse, not so great, because we have, if you think about the how beautiful this wind is upright, think about it in reverse of it kind of being a little bit of a storm. So if you're thinking about like a person in particular, maybe they're a little bit hot-headed, maybe they are just, you know, they don't think before they speak, right? There is a little bit of player energy here with the Page of Swords. It kind of goes too with the Wands as well. I'd say that kind of transpires. Wait until we get to the Wands. Ooh, child. All right. So let's say I ask, I'm gonna throw in a question here. What do I need to know right now? This is going to be, that's my favorite basic question. If you want to like play, not just play, like ask someone who does tarot and you're like, I can't come up with a question. That's usually the question I would ask. What do I need to know right now? So let's just say I got this card in reverse. What do I need to know right now?
I think like slow your roll. Like you need to stop and think about what you want to do and how you want to do it instead of going full speed ahead.
Yes. I'm telling you, I'm getting free readings out of you guys.
I got that. There may be some unexpected news, some bad news coming your way. So brace yourself.
All right, excellent. Yes. Yes. Anybody else want to jump in on that?
I have this song "Quit Playing Games with My Heart" by the Backstreet Boys that comes to mind.
All right. I was gonna sing it, but I don't want to hurt anyone's ears. I don't want anyone to vomit, so we'll just continue. But I do like that. Quit playing games with my heart. Ooh, maybe I need to do some soul searching. All right, let's keep on moving on. Here we go. Knight of Swords. This is major changes. Hence, I put shooketh. Like, it's fast, assertive. Notice that he is different from the rest of the suits. He's on the horse, he's charged. Remember, we got that those chaotic clouds. They're coming in zigzag like that, right? That horse is like, dude, what the hell are you doing? Like, look at the expression on it. It's like, right?
I was gonna ask Summer, does the horse face looks really concerned? Does that mean
It's concerned?
Like, I can't go any faster.
Right? It's like, what the hell is going on here? So, obviously, this means fast pace. This is like, if you are looking for a person who is assertive, who does not mince up their words, this is the person. They go for what they want. They know what they want. Kind of a little bit sharp in the mind, too. The only way to say that is because those clouds are sharp. And they have that sword draw forward, and they're ready to kick ass the bass, okay? So this also signifies aggressiveness, upright and in reverse, right? Because look at the person, they know where they're going. The horse is like not entirely trustful of this person, which is okay. But the fact, though, too, we have it up in reverse, it just means that things are just kind of spiraling out of control. Because look at it in reverse, you're like, it's just utter chaos. This person probably doesn't know where they're heading. They just jump into action without actually even thinking about it, right? This also could, if you're pulling on yourself, that would mean the same thing as well, okay? But this one's pretty self-explanatory also too. In the top right, look at that arrow there, birds. Because I like I mentioned, the last end of the suit, there's lots of birds. I noticed that, okay? That does play into that freedom, that higher self, that, you know, maybe spirit is like, you need to get up and get moving, right? It's time to start taking action. Remember, swords are all about action. Okay? And note too, like his armor is not of a significant color either. I mean, he's like super decked. I mean, it's like more on a protective front than anything. Okay, maybe this person is very protective as well. Okay, does anyone want to jump in, want to comment about the Knight of Swords? I think this one's like almost pretty self-explanatory.
I was gonna say there's also birds on, it looks like birds on the horse's, I don't know what that is, saddle or something around its neck. It looks like there's butterflies or something.
Good observation. A plus plus plus. Yes, there are some birds there. I thought it was just like a pattern, just like a random pattern. But
See, I have the radiant deck, so I can see him a lot better on my card.
that's
But there's, yeah.
excellent. Very good observation. Absolutely love it. But yes. So on my way to freedom. I'm sorry, I can get a little bit too carried away. But yes, I'm glad that you brought that up. Now I have to actually go look at, well, these decks are like not as, probably as clear, but it's actually excellent observation.
Hey, Summer.
Yeah.
I just caught when you said that charging the action. I think it was one of your readings when you said you're all about love and light, but you're also love and fight. So I just,
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Like that's your spirit. Like love and fight.
Yeah, this was me, like, especially all last week. I was like all gun-ho. I was out there. Bandy was out there too with me. We're out protesting and whatnot. Fight the good fight. Oh man. Man, you exposed me like that.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm just kidding. But it's exactly that. Oh my God. Crack me up, dude. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna keep laughing about that later too. Oh my goodness. All right, you guys. So we have the lovely Queen of Swords. This kind of reminds me, this has like my mother energy. We used to call her the Godfather. Kind of has that kind of Godfather. Bandy, she's smiling because she knows that too. That woman is super bossy. So this is like big boss energy. It's like very, I call this one a little bit calculated too. They are, I don't mean like calculate like in a bad way. It's like more of, they're able to think a few steps ahead than what people normally do or think. Okay, they're very honest. We see there in the background, look at those lovely, beautiful clouds. They look like marshmallows. It's kind of like making me a little hungry, even though I had breakfast. We have a bird, that one single bird up there, right? But she looks like she's commanding. She's holding that sword, very like beautiful, directive expression, right? And she's sitting on that lovely throne. It's like she tells you to jump, you're going to ask how high. This is that type of person. But this person's very open-minded. If you're like, how are you getting open-minded? Obviously, if we're looking, there's clouds there, like I said, there at the bottom, but the sky is really much exposed with that one bird there. That just signifies open-mindedness. Very intelligent, very sure of herself and the people around her. The trees are not kind of like hazy. Remember with the Knight of Swords, the trees were like all tilted because of the strong winds. That's not in this case. Super calm. Very sure of herself. Okay. In reverse, we have the lack of empathy. She does not give two craps about how you feel. She does not care about, remember I said calculated? That's why I put that easily influenced in there. It's because they're able to think a few steps ahead. Okay. Also, too, if we're asking about, does anyone, actually, I'm going to throw the question out. Does anyone want to give a question? Or throw out a question?
I have one.
Go ahead, Courtney.
Where am I going?
That's actually a good one. Where am I going? Like, where are you going in terms of like path?
Life paths, career, like life path / career path.
So if we're asking the question, Courtney asked, where are we going in terms of light path? Okay, does anyone want to jump in on that question?
Is it upright or reverse?
Let's say upright.
I see the butterfly on the chair, so that always means like new beginnings or abundance, or what is it like?
Transformation.
Transformation.
There's
So and
3 butterflies there. Sorry, mess with your ring. Sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. And then I was just gonna say with the clouds being open, like the path is open to you, like with the new beginning.
That's an excellent one. Thank you, Akivia. Lovely. And great question, by the way. Yes. So notice that her eyes and her intuition told her where to look. Okay. You guys need to, when you're doing readings, you're going to be doing the same thing. That's why you would hear me say, oh, the butterflies start to stick out. Or maybe you're going to start seeing birds. Maybe you're going to start seeing a certain type of number, or, or not type of number, a certain number, right? So just keep that in mind when you're doing these readings, that you're probably going to see something now that when you pull the same card for someone else, you'll see something entirely different. It won't be the same meaning every single time. So let's just say, like I said, okay, this card just means honesty. And someone asked me, what does my career look like? And I'm sticking with that word, honesty. That's not going to come out correct. It's not going to feel right, right? So we just want to be able to just let our intuition kind of do the guiding, right? Because it's 60% you and 40% tarot. That's like, I honestly think that's the ratio. You can do whichever ratio you want, but I'm glad that you did point out the butterflies, right? That's excellent. Anybody else want to jump in on the Queen of Swords?
I was gonna say she has a crown on that has butterflies on it too, so it's like maybe transforming of thoughts. I thought of like crown chakra and stuff like that.
Excellent, excellent. Plus.
I just noticed the cape that she's wearing has clouds and blue on it, so she has the sky on her cape. I don't know if I'm seeing this right. It looks to me that like endless possibilities, maybe.
Endless possibilities. Yes, yes. Excellent. Amanda, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was picking up crown chakra as well, just because the bird's like directly over her head and directly like I kind of picked up like on spirit, like there might be only one bird, but your connection is still there.
Right. So we have that divine connection going on here.
Yeah, I'm just piggybacking off of what she said.
Excellent. And the cloak that she's wearing has clouds on it too. Right? Excellent. You guys are doing so damn good. So like I said before, it means like several things. Now look, everyone has put in different inputs, right? Instead of just saying, yeah, it just means honesty and call it a day. You guys do so damn well.
Well, never mind.
You want me to go back?
It's fine.
Are you sure? I can go back. Go ahead.
In the center of her throne, there is a head with wings that I would assume to be an angel.
Excellent. Yes. That's a good one. So there's that divine connection there.
Yeah.
That's a good observation. Yes. Guys are doing so well. I love it. Okay, so King of Swords. It's kind of like the Queen, but we're getting more of the, if you notice, like for King, for almost like all the suits, they're looking forward instead of looking on the side. All the Queens are always like, they give you that side profile. But the Kings are just like looking at you like, get on. And I look at this one as person who is very assertive, also very intelligent, just like the Queen of Swords. That very calm expression on their face. This is like more of like that fixed gaze. Like, I'm going to stare into your soul and find out all your secrets type of look. Just kind of almost a little creepy too. But, you know. So we do have some clouds there, right, to the background. It's very calm skies, very calm trees. There's some good water. There's some earth there. So we're getting, this card gives us that good balance. There's the fact too that we have those two birds on the throne. We are seeing some butterflies there too. So this is like almost towards the end of that transformation. Now, this card does remind me of the Justice card, and we'll actually be going diving deep into the Justice card in the next class. But this person is just very sure of themselves. They just know exactly where they're going. They're very sharp in the mind. They might be a tidbit controlling. That controlling aspect does come up, in my opinion, upright and in reverse as well. All right, because this person is like walking down a certain path, and going off that path might drive them a little crazy, right? I think that's almost like everybody. Okay, so this one I would say is almost like pretty self-explanatory. I think the Queen had a little bit more in depth going on than the King of Swords, but I do like the fact too, like if you look at their crown, does anyone see what they see on their crown? You have to look really
Are
closely.
those faces?
Mhm.
Are those faces?
So
Oh, really creepy.
Angela did pick up an angel in the last one, right? See there on the chair, on her throne? It's on, the angel is there on the crown, with the wings there on the side. Kind of reminds me of Cupid in a way, but I know it's not Cupid. There's a certain type of angel, but it's right there on the crown. So there is some divine guidance going on here too. Okay, a good divine influence as well. All right. So in reverse, it just means exactly the opposite. This person is very strong-willed. They just might be, they might not take everyone's feelings at the same time. Right? But I think that this one is almost pretty self-explanatory. Does anyone want to jump in on the King of Swords?
I just noticed he had butterflies behind him.
There's some butterflies there on his throne there. Excellent.
It looks like there's a person over his shoulder. I don't know if you can see it on your card. I can see it really well on mine. It almost looks like their knee is bent. Yeah.
Yeah. That kind of reminds me, it looks like I might have to pick up another card so I can see a little bit clearer. It reminds me of almost like a Three of Cups, because it's like there's two people. You know, Three of Cups, like the three ladies are kind of like twirling, like circle, right? It kind of looks like that, but his head is just blocking the rest of it. There's a little bit of celebratory feel to it too. Anyone else want to comment or have any questions about the King of Swords?
One of the clouds looks like an egg. I don't know why.
You say an A or an egg?
Egg.
Huh. I can see that. The one at the bottom left.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay, any other comments? All right. All right, guys, let's take a break. 5 minutes. Okay, the time is 11:32, so we'll come back 11:37. Give everyone a good mental break.
Summer.
Yes.
Hello. I may have to excuse myself now because I'm a little bit tired and it's like 1:30 a.m. here.
Oh, bless your heart. Yes, please. Go ahead and
Yeah. So I'll
email
catch
the
up
rest of it.
later. I'll catch up later with all of you. Okay.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much, Angela.
Annie.
Oh, Annie.
All right.
Where
Yes.
I see you like popping up. Just kidding. Annie, thank you.
Okay. See you.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Bye. You're right back. All right, so almost everyone is back. Looks like we're just gonna pull out through the wands. Does anyone have any comments, concerns before we move on?
I have a quick one
All right.
about ethics. Okay, so your friend who you said reads every day for her, like, twin flame.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't do that, but what if, like, I pull a card, like, what's going on with us or when are we going to meet? It's not the same thing, right? She's specifically like,
No,
what's he up to? What's he doing?
it's not
Okay.
the same thing. No. For her, she is like, what are they doing? What are they doing? What are
Oh,
they feeling? It's like, it's too much. But because if you're asking for a time frame, you know, time being so fluid and anything can change, that's okay, right? If you're like, I want to know what they do, I want to know, you know, how they're like, so on and so forth, that you just break down their persona and so on and so forth, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. You're allowed to do so because that person will have some sort of influence on your life. So you can't be like, I want to know what their mom's doing. You know? Like, you know, like, that's just, your spirit guides are probably gonna be like, really? Okay. You know, but
so there's
yeah, you're
like that
absolutely
line, don't be
fine.
so invasive.
Yeah. I mean, this, bless her heart, but she pulls on almost everything. It's like almost like a deciding factor in her life, and that can be a little bit too much, right? You don't want to be like, am I getting a blue or red car? Which one? Like, and pull. You know, like something like that. I have been asked such a question though. Should I get a gray or a black car? I'm like, you did not come to me with this question. You did not come to me. I said, please think thoroughly and come with a different question. That and also COVID questions. I've been getting a lot of those too. I mean, that's okay, right? Not a lot of people know, but COVID's like a beast. It is. It's kind of, it has like a mind of its own, and no one can absolutely predict COVID. Not even the best people can predict COVID. Actually, one big tarot YouTuber said COVID will end in April.
Okay.
She has like 200,000 followers. Seriously, she created a video saying it will end in April.
Did you say what year?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did she get that
it's going to
specific?
end really soon. Everyone's freaking out for no reason. And it's going to end in April. And I'm sitting there like, I don't think it is. I said, but nice try. Okay. Right? So that's what I mean, like timing and COVID is just, that's just a beast of its own. No one can hone that one in. Nobody. But yeah, you're gonna get a lot of people trying to predict it. Just don't. Yeah, and people will come to you asking about it, just be like, I have no idea. And everyone's like, yeah, I predicted that it was gonna come. No, you didn't. Nobody has predicted it was coming. Just chill. I felt like something was coming, I just didn't know what it was. If you would have told me it would have been a pandemic, I'd have been like, yeah, sure, try again. But, you know, no one knew that this exactly was going to happen. Except one psychic lady a long time ago. Anyway, all right. So let's jump right into it. Let's breeze through the wands because this is like one of my favorites. It seriously is. Wands, they showcase your energy, motivation, and passion. They represent your life's purpose and spirituality and ideas. The element of it is fire. Signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Rules the intuition, or like you hear me say, your private parts, because the passionate energy of the wands is like substantial, like it's out of this world. It's just one of my favorites. It just makes me smile. You know, there's the sun and all that kinds of good stuff. So let's go ahead, guys, and let's dive right into it. we know what this looks like. We have another hand coming out from the clouds. We have a wand right there. There's some leaves coming off of this wand as well, right? New beginnings, life, happiness. We have that castle there in the background, right? It just shows like beautiful abundance. This is just a happy card. One thing I believe I did not mention for the wands, I just realized it, is that when it comes to timing, it could mean very fast, could mean days. I think that's one thing I didn't mention in there. So just keep that in that aspect. Is wands energy, it just means it's just very fast, okay? Like fire. It's like flash in a pan, okay? So we have creative ideas, we have new beginnings. It's like spring and summer all rolled in one, like a drink at Starbucks. It's just absolutely delicious, right? So just think about like, that's like Ace of Wands just brings like a big smile to my face because it's just so happy, right? I think this one's like pretty straightforward. This also is really good with creativity, right? If you're like, I don't know what type of work I'm going to get into, and this pops up, this is telling me that you need to follow something more on what you're passionate about or on the creative route, okay? All right, so this one's pretty self-explanatory. Does anyone have any comments or concerns about Ace of Wands before we move on? All right, let's go ahead. Two of Wands. Look at this person in their red cloak there. They're looking outwards in that little, I think it's called a bay. Please don't come at me, right? And we have some beautiful greenery. They have the world in their hands. They're just, it's like they're ready to set sail. They're ready to move on. And it literally means that. Like, you have the world in your hands. They have a wand there right behind them and is staying upright. And it's like that they're trusting it. They're trusting in themselves to know where they're going. Okay. Also, too, we do have some mountains there in the background as well. This just signifies that, you know, this could mean that you might have two paths. This could mean, like, you know, let's say, for example, you're like, what type of job should I get? And this card pops up. It's like they want you to, or maybe a job that you can do remotely, where you could travel, where you could move, something that gives you a lot of like freedom, right? Going out of that comfort zone. Because if you notice too, it looks like that they're at home and they're ready to break out free. And or maybe you're planning to travel or something. This is an excellent card for that. Actually, there's a lot of traveling cards when it comes to wands as well. And you'll see that. Reverse obviously means, you know, you want to get out there, but something is holding you back. You want to be able to move free, or you want to be able to leave your job, but you just don't know what the options are out there. Or, you know, maybe you've been trying to plan for traveling and COVID happens and you're done. It's canceled. Right? Because look at the world in their hands. Like, the whole world's on fire right now, dude. Like, it's a wrap. Okay? So any questions or comments about Two of Wands? This is one of my favorites too. It's just so happy. And I want to read like cloak.
One of the wands is shorter.
One of the wands is shorter. You're absolutely right. And the fact that it is sitting, like they're holding it up, they're kind of resting it on that stone there, right? It's like they're, I don't want to say like charging forward, but it's kind of like that. Like they're just very sure of moving forward with that.
But the other one looks like it's posted to the wall or steps or.
Yeah, that one is like standing upright.
Mhm.
And if you notice, they're not really concerned with that one.
Yeah.
It's kind of like they're ready to leave that one behind. Right?
I saw
And
the
like,
second.
go ahead, sorry.
I saw it as like the second one. That's like your backup plan. Go forward if that's what you want to do, but you're safe because you have that second wand or that second, plan. You're still good.
Yeah, exactly. So it's being able to, just the fact that that's standing upright and their gaze is not on it, it's more of like a trust. They don't have two hands. They're not holding on to two things. They're only holding on to that globe and that wand right there. But they're trusting that one will not fall over. That one would not be knocked over. So that's excellent, excellent observation. Courtney, you look like you want to say something.
Sorry, I was talking to my son in the background.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's all good. All right, guys, let's move on. Three of Wands. Very, very much the same. Now, if you look at there at the bottom, that's actually water. There are ships there, right? There's some boats. There we go, with more of the subconscious mind, motion, motivation, like try to keep things moving. They're standing there on Earth. They're, this does like scream to me like a long distance relationship. If you're looking at relationships, this is a very good possibility. It could be long distance. And that's because if you notice those, like I said, those boats or ships there at the bottom, and they're just like in movement, and the fact that there are mountains there across the water, and they're able to, it looks like they're more like admiring. There we go. It's like they're admiring the scene. And notice the red too. We're getting a lot of red when it comes to the wands. Does anyone want to tell me why there's lots of red?
Passion.
Excellent. Anything else?
I also think it's because the wands look a little bit like rocks. We say that the root chakra, for example. Do you know what I mean? Like for example, the root chakra is also red.
Yes, excellent.
Roots and stuff like that.
Excellent, excellent observation. Yes. So this one is pretty excellent. It's, and in reverse, things are just not going well. There's a lot of blockages, right? Think about if you're getting stuck with this card and you're like, I'm not sure what I'm looking at. Obviously, of course, you could put your hand on top of the card and help you, decipher, what you're seeing or what you're feeling. That could help, but also too, look at the ships. If you get stuck, you're not sure what this means, look at the ships, even if it is in reverse. Because imagine no wind when you're on a boat. You're not going anywhere. You're stuck. Okay? So there's some blockages there. All right? So let's just keep that in mind. Anything else regarding the Three of Wands?
The mountains in the background, excuse me, they're purple, so maybe abundance is over there.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. So could we say that if abundance is like across the water, that you are on your way to abundance?
Mm-hmm.
So if we're saying in reverse, like you are kind of blocking yourself from getting there, or there are other obstacles blocking for you to get that abundance, we could say that as well.
Just get on the boat, like it's three of them. Pick one.
Swim out.
Yeah, like get on the boat.
Well, with this one also we could tell this person is probably wealthy. There's, like you said, there is some abundance here, and that's probably their ships, right? Kind of looks like it. Like you said, pick one.
Yeah, pick one.
Pick one. So, and also too, we have 3 boats. So the number 3, we're going to get into that too when we get into numerology. But there's the fact that there's 3 boats and 3 wands. Okay, and that coincides together. Maybe you have 3 options. Maybe 3 snacky options. You know.
Snacky option?
Yeah, you
Did
know.
you just say that?
I don't know. I don't actually mean snacks. I meant like, you know.
Like 3 whole meals, like.
Yeah. It's like buffet, baby, every day. Buffet before COVID, you know.
Right. Social distancing buffet. That's what it is. Social distancing buffet.
Yeah, exactly. Well, those are kind of practicing social distancing, right? There's some between them. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. You guys crack me up. All right, so we have 4 wands. This one is super happy. There's a celebration. It looks like they're getting married. There's castle there. There's people there. There's some beautiful fruits like hanging between. I think some cards show fruit. Some cards just show roses going in between those wands. There's some grape leaves here as well, right? And we know what grape leaves represent when we're looking at the pinnacle. So this is really great abundance. This is something coming in that's new. Maybe you're making a really large purchase. Maybe you are getting married. If you're like, I want to know if I will be with this person and this comes up, yes, you've like hit the end game here. Okay, this is just, it gives you like all the feels. You know, I'm like, oh, those people are so close together. Ooh. You know, because the mindset now is like totally changed, right? So if you're looking to get a new home, this pops up. This is a good confirmation. In reverse, there's maybe some conflict, also maybe some delays. There are also some delays in the relationship and delays in job or your life path or whatnot. Like it's going to, I honestly think this one's like a temporary delay. It's not like a permanent one because, you know, we're talking about minor arcanas. So, but the fact that we do have this one in reverse, maybe we're going to be fighting with some family members as well. Hopefully not at your wedding. But, you know, anything can happen at weddings. We all know that. So, so the fact that we do have, I think someone on Facebook had this card. Who was it? It's okay. I'll go back and I'll double check. But someone had this card and I was like, ooh, juicy. Had the 10 of Cups. Yeah. It's just, this is just a happy card. I mean, look, they're in togas and they're throwing up a bouquet and the whole 9 yards. So this one's like pretty self-explanatory as well. Does anyone want to touch on it? Anyone want to comment on it? Notice too the color yellow here, right? Mm-hmm. Notice it's super, super yellow in this card, right? It signifies abundance. It signifies like you reaching, you know, it's that gold just makes you happy. It just does, right? Anyone want to comment on this?
I hear it called the twin flame card a lot.
Yes, it could be very much a twin flame card, yes. And that's because we have 2 people. This one, and I say the 2 of Cups are hardcore twin flames, right? If you look, almost everything is very parallel to each other. The wands are very parallel to each other. Those 2 people, one in red, one in blue, and you know, it does scream parallel. 2 on 2, of course, you know, number 4. But yeah, I can definitely see that. Anybody else? All right, let's go ahead. Oh, someone was about to say something? No, did I miss? Okay, just kidding. Haha, 5 of Wands. We're little tighties and they're fighting with their sticks. This one is just based off of conflict. This one's a very passionate energy. If I want to know what type of passionate person this is, and this comes up, this is a red flag. A red flag, because this is, I'm going to key your car type of passionate energy, okay? And, you know, especially with in-laws, if you have this one come up, it's time to run. But, you know, it also signifies sportsmanship. I think that's like kind of rare-ish, but it does just show straight up disagreement. They are fighting. Everyone just doesn't look like they're having a good time. But this one is pretty self-explanatory. I don't even think I need to get into this one that deeply. If it were up in reverse, it just means like, you know, you guys coming to a resolution of some sort. You know, you guys are able to communicate. Maybe you have been fighting in the past about something and now you're starting to see things a lot clearer. This one is just pretty, almost like black and white almost. Does anyone want to comment on the Five of Wands?
I see kids playing.
Oh, so you see playing. Okay. So that kind of goes too with the sportsmanship. I can see that. Cooperating together.
I think that's on like
Go ahead, Amanda.
male insecurity. Because when I see wands, I see like a body part, you know? And all these guys are like,
I almost
I'm
ran with
bigger,
that. Yeah.
you know? Like,
Yeah.
I got it now. So.
Yeah, I totally get that. That makes sense, definitely. So the male ego. I could see that. Anybody else want to comment on it? All right, you guys are doing so good. Excellent. Six of Wands. This one's like very peaceful. They're on their horse. I mean, this horse looks calm, not like the Knight of Swords where the horse was like totally freaking out. You know, this is like people around you kind of like rooting you on. This is you like charging forward about your, you know, your passionate, you know, energy or project or person or so on and so forth. It's just like you being very sure and determined and very successful in what you are doing. You see that we have some wands there, we have a wreath there, right? That signifies things coming full circle. Okay, things being able to work out. Now we're going to be talking about also full circle when we get to the Wheel of Fortune as well. So this just means that everything is starting to fall into place. And they're very sure of themselves. And they're kind of like leading those other people to the right direction, okay? Also, too, they have the wreath on their head as well. So that kind of falls into that, that crown chakra. And if we were looking at it too in reverse, you're misleading people. No, not really. It's just, it could also mean too that maybe the people around you are not the best for you. It could mean that you're just not in the right type of situation. Maybe you're lacking confidence. The lack of confidence is, this one for me screams true with this card. It's just that you're very unsure of what you should do. Maybe you're unsure of what type of life path you should be on, goals, and so on and so forth, okay? So this one is pretty, almost like pretty crystal clear as well. So does anyone want to jump in on this card in particular? Anything that maybe you're like, Summer, I don't think so. I don't think this is leadership. You know, maybe it's leading him to battle or something.
I just want to say with the horse,
Mm-hmm.
it reminds me of the Knight of Cups horse, how they both have this dreamy, romantic look to them.
That's an excellent observation. Yes. Very dreamy, very romantic, very sure of themselves. Yes.
For me, it looks like he's a bringer of peace or so. I don't know. Or when you ask what kind of good news is coming in, like
Yeah.
good news for you or something like
So
that.
you're absolutely right. This could mean, maybe there's some good news coming in. Maybe you're getting some, maybe you're going to have more than one suitor too coming towards you. That could be the case as well. But I do like the fact that you brought in good news. So good news also, if I had to like pinpoint what type of news, I would say news that would benefit you in some way, shape, or form, right? Or maybe someone's getting pregnant or something. That's another one too. I actually had that one happen. Not to me. Not today. I already have one and he talks back, so. All right, so 7 of Swords. This is a take no shit type of sword type of suit. And did I say 7 of Swords? Sorry, I meant 7 of Wands. This is actually literally taking no shit from anybody. You have to if you're looking at this, it looks like that. Now that Amanda put it in my head, thank you. It looks like a bunch of penises, warding off the peen.
I'm surprised you wouldn't just welcome them in.
I love it. I just think it's funny. So it just means just that, being protective. You notice that they're kind of standing a little bit on the high ground there. And, I would visually look or not visually look, just imagine that there's people there holding those wands up. And they're kind of obstructing. And it's you being on the attack. You trying to defend your home, you trying to defend somebody, or, maybe someone is defending you. I just feel as though this is you almost fighting for your life. Okay? So what I'm kind of getting with this one. Also too, we do have a little bit of water there. So emotions are a little bit high here as well. And they're just, damn, now I can't get that image out of my head. Especially when he's holding it like this. It looks like peen on either side. So world peen. Okay. I know I need to grow up. Okay.
No, you don't. Just stay the way you are.
Yeah. This is just, I'm still gonna laugh about that. Okay, so remember, we have assertiveness. We have a person who takes no crap. A person, if they see something, they will say something. In reverse, it means just that. It means that you are shy. You are withholding. You're not coming out and saying what you need to say. Maybe you don't want to get into a project just because maybe other people might judge you, or, I just feel as though this one is just, it has a bit of a overwhelming upright and in reverse sense to it. And the fact that if we do get it in reverse, and I realize this one's not in reverse, don't know what happened, but just pretend like it is, that you're overwhelming yourself from maybe other obstacles around you and or other people. Okay? Does anyone want to comment about 7 of Wands or have any questions about 7 of Wands? The Wands are pretty straightforward. I think the swords are a little bit on the tricky side of things, but the Wands are pretty straightforward. Can we move on? Let's move on. 8 of Wands. Super quick, super fast. Things that are changing. This actually this just makes me happy. So if we're asking, okay, am I going to hear from them soon? And this one pops up, yes. Definitely. Am I going to see them soon? Yes. Am I going to meet them soon? Am I going to get that job soon? Yes. Now, I've had this happen. I'm going to throw a curveball. Now we know what wands are, right? We're kind of familiar. I'm going to ask, what type of job does my soulmate have? And this comes up upright. Who wants to answer? You can take your time with it.
I would say he's in travel.
Okay.
Like type of like commercial industry or something.
All right. Excellent. Yes.
I'd say maybe like something entrepreneurial. Oh my gosh. Where he kind of sets his own schedule and maybe does do some kind of traveling.
Excellent. Yes. That's an excellent one. Anybody else?
I would say whatever it is that he's into or his job, he's passionate about it. Like it's what he wants to do.
Excellent. That is absolutely
like an airplane pilot. You could be like a pilot.
Ooh, yes. I'm about to say Mile High Club, but
I was gonna say Gigolo.
I mean, you kind of opened up the door on that one.
I mean, I was thinking like the rapid, but yeah, I did.
Yeah.
You got quick results on there. That's the fastest way to make money.
It was who was it? Was it Angela that brought it up? That said the pings?
No, it was Amanda said pings.
It was Amanda that opened that door.
I mean, I kind of saw, but I wasn't going to. But Amanda just like ripped the Band-Aid. So there's penis everywhere.
That's all I see.
She said it, but I was thinking as soon as the Ace of Wands came up, that was the first thing I was like, "That's one big old penis." Yeah.
It's trippy with the Ace of Wands. It's like it's holding like a band.
It's supposed to be all spiritual and stuff, and I'm just thinking like that's a really big ping there. Like
yeah,
it's like
yeah, a little pervy. Yeah.
I said dildo.
So whatever.
Thanks, Amanda.
A plus. Okay. Oh my God, you guys, this is too much.
Oh, you love it.
Love it, I absolutely do. Jeez. I might have to bring that up in my next video. I swear I'm going to. If I get a wands, I'd be like, thanks, Amanda. Lots of penis everywhere. Any questions about Eight of Wands?
They make penis confetti.
They do. And penis gummies that you could send to somebody. Don't ask me how I know. Don't ask. I'll send you the link later. All right. I'll post on Facebook. I swear I will. Oh, the Forest of Peen. 9 of Wands. I'm just going to run with it, man. Okay? A lot of peen equals fatigue. Obviously, this person, they're kind of like wearing that blindfold, but they have it above their eyes. And it just shows that maybe they were shielded in some way, shape, or form, or an obstacle did come about, but they're pretty persistent, they're pretty resilient, they're ready, they're locked and loaded. I realize I do have those type of boots in my closet just now. Don't know why I realized that until now, but I do. I should probably wear my next video. So obviously, this person has their sleeves rolled up too, so it's like they're ready to go, right? They're ready to, not more like on the fight end of it, they're just ready to just take on whatever obstacles that may come. Because also too, we do have those sharp little mountains there in the background as well. So persistence, resilient, not willing to back down. They look like they probably got beat up a little bit, but they're still pushing through. Reverse, giving in to whatever obstacle that's coming towards you. maybe you are starting to feel a certain way with, you know, very minute like situations. Maybe someone said something to you and you didn't speak up for yourself and you kind of just like, you know, held back or boggled down or something like that. So that's exactly what this is. It just means that, you know, maybe, let's say for example, if it comes up in reverse and, you know, people, they love to ask me this question is, what is my life path? And this has come up in reverse. And I literally say, I don't know what your life path is. Don't know what it is. What you need to do is you need to look into your inner self, find out what you're passionate about, and really follow suit with that, right? Because if you're giving someone else, and I'll talk about that probably in the next class, someone else the torch to tell you what your life path is, means you do not know what it is. And the tarot does show that. Now you could say, I want to go on this path, but I want tarot to confirm it for me. Then that's different. But if they come in just like, I just don't know what it is, and this one comes in and reverse, it's like, you just don't know. There's no direction. You just need to be able to find that within yourself. Okay? So any questions, comments about Nine of Wands? This Wands, like I said, pretty straightforward. Ten of Wands. Now, burden, stress, hard work. It's like they're boggled down. I almost went south with that too. Penis boggled down, right? There's so much penis everywhere. Can't do it anymore. Oh man. So obviously it means hard work. Damn it, Amanda, it means like, you know, I have to tease because you made me this way. You unlocked the beast. So just means to stress, right? You're stressed about a certain situation. Maybe you're stressed about your home life. There's a house there in the background. You know, maybe you're stressed out about work. There's a little bit of a field there as well. Okay, so this one is, if I have to think of a stress card, this is it. Absolutely it. Burden, those penises are too heavy to carry, you know, it's so extra, right? Now, if we're looking at it in reverse, I don't know what is going on with my PowerPoint. It decided to not switch things, but that's okay. If we're looking at it in reverse, it's like you being able to release that burden, you being able to be a master of your own destiny and not let other things like kind of bring you down, okay? But this one is pretty self-explanatory as well. Like I said, the Wands card, they're like pretty crystal clear of what's going on here. Does anyone want to comment on the Ten of Wands? Or like to share something? I think it's pretty. Go ahead.
With most of the ones, I've been struggling to see. I don't see, like with the I think it was the Eight of Wands. I didn't see a career path, so to speak.
Okay.
And for the last ones, it seemed more like he was scared to do anything and kind of stuck almost.
The Nine of Wands?
So I've been, yeah.
Okay, I can see that. I can definitely see that.
But with this one, I don't know. I'm kind of blocked. I don't get the one we were just on. I'm kind of still a little blocked, if that makes sense.
So you're saying the Eight of Wands, you're not sure of the career aspect of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the Eight of Wands and the Ten of Wands are my struggles.
So with the Eight of Wands, look how they're kind of sideways coming into the card. If you remember when we were looking at the Swords card and the fact that we had the clouds going in sideways, kind of like on the like chaotic jagged like so. So it just means that things are just moving fast. So just think about it that way. Anything that comes in sideways in terms of tarot just means that it's speedy. It's coming in pretty fast.
Okay.
Maybe instead of saying, oh, well, I mean, travel is a really good one, but also too, maybe they have a fast-paced career. You can just roll with that too, right? Maybe something that they're very passionate about, but they're looking to get something that just keeps them going. So I would just keep that in mind. Anything that goes sideways just means that things are just moving really fast. And the fact that with wands, I would say wands equals passionate, if that would help you. Okay? Now with the Nine of Wands is a little bit tricky, is because his expression, it looks like, yeah, he did get beat up. But if you notice, he's not laying down like the sword suit, where you have characters kind of like laying down with knives or something in them. This person's standing up. They're kind of short and they're gripping onto that wand there, right? And the fact that they have a bandage or, you know, or let's say just cloth, right? Unlike the swords where it was like over their eyes, they're just shielding themselves. It's the fact that it is above. It's just like they're just ready to go. They've probably been beat up a little bit, but they're just very persistent with it. They're not ready to lay it down.
Okay.
So let's say, for example, we're asking a career question with this card. We're saying that maybe they work in a very high stress environment, right? Because if we are looking there in the background and the fact that those wands are standing up and kind of getting beat up, you know, well, I hope they don't have a job that gets their ass kicked every day. But maybe something that they just have to, it's not an easy job whatsoever. I would just roll with that. But the expression does look like he's just not happy where he is. Just look at it as his stance. In terms of like the swords is all about like laying out swords in you, around you, where in this case, he's just ready to go. Okay?
Okay.
And then did you want me to talk about the Ten of Wands or?
No, I get it better now. Thank you.
Okay, good. Yeah, just anything that comes in, even the Knight of Swords. Remember you came in like sideways, right? And those clouds are kind of staggered. If you ever get stuck, just put your hand on top of the cards. And I say just take a deep breath and really just look at it. You know, sometimes they'll come through, sometimes they won't, but that's okay. Just the more you do it, it'll stick.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so we went over Ten of Wands. So we got Page of Wands. This one makes me laugh because it looks like he's like a Casanova, you know, like a pimp, you know, with the. I'm getting like pimp energy here. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're a pimp. Now, from the Page of Wands to the King of Wands, I want you to notice there are pyramids. You can tell the illustrator was very into ancient Egypt, and it'll actually make a little bit more sense as we keep going. But the fact that there are pyramids there, it just means like almost like planning in a way, or like being sure, something that's like that will last a long time, if that makes any sense at all. The pyramids, they kind of like, they can mean like several things. So I think this one, the pyramids do stump a lot of people. Now, the fact that we have this lovely Casanova with that beautiful blonde hair, like underneath that hat, it just shows that, you know, this person, because they are youthful. Remember, Page of Wands, they're very youthful. All the pages are youthful, and it just means that they are a little bit impulsive. There are also some, you know, maybe you'll be getting some good news with this one. You know, they're a smooth talker as well. Okay, but this also just means like reigniting the fire within yourself. maybe also bringing in your inner child. This does come into play here. Now that we have it in reversed, maybe not very patient. Remember, fiery energy is like a flash in a pan. So for the fact that we get it in reverse, maybe you're just impatient, like you need it now. You're not really thinking things through, right? He is admiring that staff in his hand. He's like, oh, lovely peen. You know? I love you, penis. So, yeah. So this one is like Page of Wands. It just means inner child reigniting that useful energy. Maybe this person has that little bit of useful energy too. Okay. But this one is pretty self-explanatory. Does anybody want me to go a little deeper into this one, or anyone have any questions, comments?
Yes, can you talk about the pyramids?
Yeah, so the pyramids, I think that this person, the illustrator, just loved you'll see the pyramids again, actually, as we keep going. But the fact that we do have pyramids there in the background, it signifies, like, it does kind of signify travel in a way too, like laying down a foundation. Because if you think about it, pyramids, they lasted for thousands of years, right? So it could, honestly, the shadow side of itself is maybe this person who is impulsive, or, you know, maybe they're a little bit too much of a fiery energy, cannot get out of it, and they're kind of stuck in their ways. So it could mean that too.
Okay.
But the fact that we did get pyramids, it could mean travel. It can mean like several things. It's not really crystal clear. When I was getting into tarot, I was like, why the hell did they put pyramids in the background? People weren't really able to tell why pyramids were there.
Yeah, it spoke like travel to me too. Like that's what I was like, maybe travel to ancient places or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what the feel that I was getting from that there was very good possible travel. Maybe a place that you've been wanting to go since you were a child too, or maybe for a long time.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions?
These geckos, I kind of see it, or lizards, whatever you want to call them. I feel like if you see a gecko, it's like it has the ability to camouflage and go. Like you see them on all continents, so it's, I guess, resilience about it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's excellent. They can survive harsh temperatures, right? So that's an excellent observation. Definitely, yes. Now, actually, no, I'm gonna wait for the next one to ask that question, because we're gonna get the pyramids again, okay? Like I said, more pyramids. 9 of Wands. Look how he's charging. Fast. Now, this is like, it kind of remind me a little bit of player energy-ish, right? This is wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, but not all the time, right? I think it just depends on the person. But this just means like this person could be adventurous, a little bit rebellious. Maybe you have a little bit of a rebellious streak to you. They're very, 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 very passionate. If you are, let's say, for example, you don't have sex tarot and this card comes up, you are in good hands. Excellent hands, okay? The stamina on this, I'm about to say on the peen, is amazing. Right? So obviously we're getting the charge forward. I want you to keep in mind too, Courtney, and sideways. Remember I said anything that comes in sideways means fast, right? But the swords is definitely not freaking out, not like the Ace of Swords. But
it looks like the guy is freaking out though.
Yeah, the guy looks like, you know, like the little squiggly mouth thing, you know, with emojis or something like that. Yeah. So, but honestly, this is like super sexy, fiery person. This is like if this comes up and you're reading about this person, the damn, like I'm all for it. Okay. So they might be, let's say, in reverse. Now, too. Okay. I'm not even talking about the reverse. I'm gonna throw in a question. Where will I meet this person? Don't just give me a location, but also give me the context of it.
In a hot climate.
Okay, hot climate, nice.
I was thinking while traveling, actually, too, because everything about this card gives me like travel vibes and that summer vacation hot fashion night.
Yes,
Like
excellent. Great.
Somewhere tropical.
Okay. I'm all about this tropical life. Yes. Okay. So we have the where. Can anyone lay out how?
Unexpectedly.
Bingo. I need to start like bringing up the A+, like maybe a little, the scorecard 10, or something. But yes, unexpectedly is when you least expect it. Maybe you're traveling, or maybe you're going out about your day, maybe you're just trying something new, and then this person just winds up unexpectedly, right? So I love that. Yes. So obviously too, in reverse, it's like, oh, it's supposed to say show off. I'm about to say show on. What does that mean? Show off. Right? They're just a little bit impulsive. Like anytime we get the fire energy, this is just what happens. Okay? The Queen of Wands. Pyramids. More pyramids in the background. Obviously, she's sitting there on her throne. She's holding a sunflower. I think this one's like very, 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 very symbolic. Very symbolic. There's so much imagery in this photo that it's amazing. So also too with the pyramids, we have a cat there.
I love that.
Sorry, say that again.
I said I love that.
Yeah, the fact that there is a cat there. Some people thought that it could mean, like cognizance, like knowing, right? They call it cunning. Or, we have the cat with ancient Egypt. Cats used to be worshipped during that time. It also references witchcraft in a way as well. Okay. We have the sunflower. Obviously, we had to pick a time frame of when things are going to happen. The sunflower should be a dead giveaway, right? Because sunflowers, they come in when?
The summer.
Yep, the summer. Absolutely. So definite good hardcore fire energy here. Also too, we have those figures right above her head. Looks like they're holding a flower together. Oh, so cute. But this one does show really hardcore imagery. And it just means like very sure, very passionate as well. Anytime like the last end of the suits, they're all going to be very more passionate, I think, than any other suit. And anytime I see the queen, it's always like a calm, like demeanor about her. Very sure, approaches things very diligently, very leadership qualities there. So does anyone want to talk about the Queen of Wands?
I have something to say. I think she's the first queen that is facing forward.
Yes. So when you're thinking about assertiveness and passionate energy, it's like you're facing things like head on. Right? So I'm glad that you brought that up. I was like, I'm hoping someone will say that. So definitely. Now, we'll see when we get to the king. But
I also, she's surrounded by like cats or like lions, so there's a balance of her strength. You know, even like at the head and at the bottom, like, so she's surrounded, but at the bottom, the two cats look a little bit like two different types of cats. So I don't know if that's on purpose or if that's like just what I see.
No, you're absolutely right. They do look like two different types of cats. Also, too, this card references the sun card. It also references the strength card. Because we do have two lion-like figures there. If you look at the strength card, when you have the chance, you'll see a woman kind of like taming a lion. There's a lion right there by her side. And with the sun card, she is holding a sunflower. So this card in particular does coincide both of them together. So that's excellent observation. All right, and obviously we know this in reverse, she's not having it. Passionate energy can turn into jealousy. It's a thin line between love and hate, right? It can be a little bit pushy. So, I mean, like with the queen, if it does come up in reverse, I wouldn't say it's completely manipulative unless it screams out to you that it is manipulative. But just look at her being like passionate, but maybe her passions are going towards the wrong thing and not for good. Okay? All right. Any questions before we move on? We're almost done, guys.
I have one more question. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like with this card here, I get like if somebody were to ask like the personality type, and it gets like, it screams like feline, you know what I mean? Like, so they're not always like manipulative, but like not sneaky, just like a cat, you know what I mean? So is that what you would like say their personalities? I don't know how to translate it.
If it comes up in reverse, or you mean upright?
Well, both actually. Both.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I'm glad that you brought that up because cat-like personalities, I kind of am like a cat-like personality. So
yeah, me too.
Cats will only come to you when they're ready.
Mm-hmm.
They watch you, they observe you. You know, they sense there's something off about a person. You know, they're not always coming forth like, you know, like a little puppy does. And that's absolutely cool, right?
Okay.
So they come to you when they're ready. So I'm glad that you brought that up, and that's excellent observation.
Thanks.
They do come to you if they want loving, if they want affection.
Say that again?
They do come to you if they want loving, if they want affection.
Loving, that's if they want it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent.
I have a cat, I know.
Courtney, you were about to say something too?
Oh, I was just pointing out that her head was so thick. So could that mean she's like watching people also, like with the cat persona? Just sitting back and watching everything around her.
Yeah. So analyzing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely dissecting people. And you know what, too, when we're thinking about it, when we're analyzing and we're trying to get a feel for a person, that kind of taps into that empathy, right? If you're an empath, you kind of are like that. You don't want to be around people with negative energy. You know, you don't want, you'll go out when you're ready type of situation. So yes, absolutely. Guys are doing so good. All right. So we're at the final end of the peen journey, right? Obviously, we have the King of Wands here. There's a gecko there at the bottom. So excellent that you brought that up, Amanda. That also goes into the, the animal aspect of it, resiliency, being able to adapt. Now, this person is like sexy, like it's no one's business. And I don't mean like by looks. Like someone who like smells like really good, you know, and the way that they carry themselves, they're smooth, you know, they're absolutely like fearless. They don't give a damn. They're like all about, you know, it's like 50 Shades almost type of situation. And I'm all for it in a bag of chips. And it's just, I mean, he's holding that peen with like confidency. Like it's just, even confidency is not really a word, but we get that, right? Super, super confident. There, of course, there is like a shadow side of being overly confident, maybe a little bit cocky, but this person does have that mature energy to them. And it's just like, if I had to put like a face to this, I don't know. I don't know what everyone's like into, but I would say like, I don't know, Brad Pitty energy. Even though I'm not like, it's definitely not Nick energy though. We know this.
This is on a pillow.
No, like, you know, this is not it. It's okay. Right? So this person's super passionate and not just what they do. Obviously some really excellent sexual energy. If it were to come in reverse, I'd say, you know, they probably hold back a little bit. Maybe they are passionate, but they're just not sure about themselves, or they're just not very confident. Maybe they need a little bit of help getting there. Now, if I had to say another career question, let's say this one comes up upright. What kind of career is my soulmate in? Now, careers are always very tricky, but let's just say it's King of Wands.
He looks like a businessman.
Okay, excellent.
Looks
Yeah,
like
so
an
like
owner,
a
like
lawyer.
its own.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Courtney. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just saying he looks more just a boss of his trades, honestly. He's very sure he's doing something he obviously enjoys because he's just sitting back and watching things unfold.
Excellent. Great. All right, anybody else?
I was gonna say a lawyer because of the reptiles. Cause you know, like slimy.
Yeah, I can see
See
that.
him sitting, you know, like I object, you know.
Okay. I totally get that. So very passionate about their job. I mean, lawyers are pretty passionate, right? When they're for their clients. So that's
Defense attorney.
excellent. Yeah. I mean, they need to take it off.
Yeah.
You know, lawyer, like they know what they're talking about, right? So that's guys are like so damn amazing, man. Like I got a kick out of this class, seriously. Okay, I'm gonna stop with the peens, but
I have a comment about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like every card we've seen, like there's leaves coming out of it. So I took from that like life, like like potential for like more.
So you are just
No, like life, like
yeah.
there's something that came out of the peen. Okay. You know, like every one of them. Exactly.
Absolutely. No, you're absolutely right. Yeah, I mean, life out of the peen, that's like, that hits it. Especially like if we're looking at the Ace of Wands, and that could honestly mean new pregnancy too. Maybe you'll hear of a baby or something like that. But yes, the leaves, they do represent life, new beginnings. So I'm glad that you brought that up. I know for a fact it's gonna come up in my next video. Watch. I guarantee it. I will not hold back, and you know that. Oh my goodness. All right, you guys. So, we don't need to practice, but I think we already practiced as we went along, and we're like way over on time. So
Toilet paper?
practice the twerk, you know. I just thought it.
Oh.
All right, so guys, homework. You need to do a reading on yourself or on each other. What do I need to know now? Okay, you can use all of the minor arcanas. That should give you a more in-depth. Now, I don't want you to do past, present, and future. You can do one card. If you want it more in depth, you can add one or two more if you'd like. Okay, but I would say you can just do it with just one. You guys can message each other as well, like on Facebook if you want to, or you can just use it on the Facebook platform. Does not matter. If you are like very, very stuck, you can always ask me. I will actually be going through the posts that you guys posted, and I'll be commenting on those. Also, please do not forget to use your intuition. I know it's super, super hard. You know, put your hands on top of the deck or on top of the card. It really just like kind of concentrate and focus. Anything that comes up like right away, go ahead and just say it. Because usually that's your intuition talking to you, okay? Don't want you to look up keywords. Just try really hard from doing that. Lastly, I would like everyone to, now this is not like, if you don't do it, I'm gonna get really, you know, get booted. I'd like everyone to do a survey. It's just halfway to make sure everyone is okay where they are. If we're missing anything I can improve on. Maybe you're like, no more Nikki, no more gifts. Please, Summer, stop with the damn penises. Anything, like you're absolutely, you're able to go ahead and just comment, be as like, this is your class, right? So I'm trying really hard for you guys to get as much as you can out of this class, all right? So now if you put no more penises, that's gonna be really hard, really hard. That's gonna like, sorry, I just can't, this is hard, all right? Any questions, you guys? We're halfway through this. Y'all are doing so damn amazing. You have no idea. Questions, comments, or concerns before we wrap up today?
Where do we leave the survey at? Is that just Facebook?
I will email it to you guys. I actually will do both
Oh,
of
okay.
email, and I will post it in the Facebook group as well.
Is there a specific question we have to ask ourselves for the spread, like for the
You
reading?
can ask for yourself, or you can choose anyone in the class that you know want to ask for. This is like for feedback purposes.
No, I mean like a specific question. Do you have to ask yourself a specific question?
It's what do I need to know right now? That's your question.
Oh. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, anything else? Anything you guys want to touch on or want me to touch on? Oh, wait until we get to the last class, because the last class is everyone I think is going to be doing their own spreads. It's going to be a lot of fun. I promise. And then I'll talk to you guys about like the craziest questions that I usually get, because it's like, oh my God, it's absolutely crazy. All right, you guys. If no one has any more questions, even after the fact, you can always go ahead and email me, or you can message me on the gram. Okay? Thank you guys so much. You guys have a good weekend, and thanks for hanging in there while we talked about penises all day. Happy Saturday.
Thank you. Likewise.
You guys take care. Bye.
Bye.
Nice weekend.
Bye.
Sharing. There we go.
Hey.